I don't think people's lives should be centered around when will you marry all the time, because at the end of the day, marriage is good. I love it and I want to experience it. Marriage is good, but I believe that that's not the only thing God has brought us on here to do.
Absolutely.
Because the truth is, after marriage, what next?
Exactly.
After childbirth, what next? As much as it is good, I believe that we shouldn't always now be centered around it all the time.
Because I have friends who are not even yet married, but they've just been in very long-term relationships, and they will talk to me as if they are married, and I was like, we were friends. Don't get me started. We were friends before you met this person. And I know that through experiences you learn things, right? But don't, as in, sometimes I think maybe married friends can be unaware. They're just so happy that they want you to be happy too. So
God makes everything beautiful in its own time. In his own time, rather. God makes everything beautiful in his own time. There's a timing that God has put in place for your marriage. You might not know it, and you can actually ask so that you receive the grace to wait towards it. But pending, that's when the time will actually come to place. Just trust God and enjoy yourself. Please make a bucket list, travel list, program list,
Don't stay in the house.
You know how they, like, now the rhetoric is always don't rush. But I find that people wait and then, like, you miss out. So I no longer believe in don't. I said, if you see him, grab him. That's my own.
Where I believe that, I'm a bit biased at the moment,
really?
but I believe that as well. Don't rush, but at the same time, I wouldn't want to use rush. I would say just let God guide you, so you don't
and do your due diligence.
Yeah, do your due diligence. As much as you don't want a good person to pass you by, do your due diligence by, checking the person. Is the person meeting your standards? Like your standard. First of all, like, what's your standard? Because when certain people come with certain standards and they're not aligning with yours, you already know that you and this person. And when I mean by standards, there are some basic standards. First of all, is the person a child of God?
That's like
child, a genuine child of God.
Because this life,
yes, everyone is a Christian.
Exactly. If you're not a Muslim, you're a Christian.
And that's very, very important.
Do you guys have a list, or did you ever have a list?
List of standards.
Like they're like,
he must be tall, or is that what you're saying?
Some people put it on the list,
yes.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
I'm not going to shame you for that, but did you, as a married person, did you have a list? And as somebody who's not yet married, do you have a list?
Maybe because I was not so male figure oriented growing up, because growing up my dad was the only male figure, and my dad is daddy. I really did not.
You didn't see him in any
No, he was present. He was present, and he did his due responsibilities. But this recent trend of daddy-daughter bonding that we see everywhere.
Okay.
No, I really did not have that. The traditional Nigerian dad. That's who my dad was. So I really did not really know what to look forward to, what to expect, what were like beautiful qualities that I had no idea. I went to a females only boarding school. Females only boarding school.
In capital letters.
Exactly. Females only boarding school. So it really, really blurred my idea, and I did not have any expectation. Physical attribute, no, I did not. But if you are talking of list of standards that I had, well, it must be a man of God, a child of God rather, like a genuine child of God. I think I am recalling that I listed those things out in a journal self, and I wrote it must be a man of faith. Yeah, I wrote that. It must be a man of faith. And I also wrote something like it must be someone that sets good examples for our children to follow and that can lead me. Then I think a last thing that is coming to my mind that I wrote now is it must be somebody that can fan my abilities and talent, so to say, to flames, because I know the kind of person I am, right? So those were the things I recall, right? But you see, physical attributes, I was clueless.
That's
And God is so kind.
Give me
God is a good God, because at least
he helped you.
he did. So.
He said, "Don't worry, I've got you."
Yeah.
No, but
So,
I was
that's good.
thinking how you said you didn't really have like, you went to an all girls school. You had like most female dominated household.
All my siblings.
Are all females. So like men weren't really the center of like your own focus. And I think as Christian women, one thing that they prepare you for is this marriage thing. Or they think they're preparing you for, because they're always, for example, even just Nigerian women, when you're in the house, they'll say, is this what you will do in your
husband's house?
What is your business? That's my
like, how did we get here?
Like every small thing, like if you don't sweep properly, is this how everything that you do is centered around
marriage?
A marriage, a man. And not to say that is a completely negative thing, but I'm so surprised that your like outlook on life was like not completely centered on men. So do you think that like maybe we should just start like, just let women be, just leave them alone, let them just and enjoy life as they are, rather than living it in hopes for a man to
all
join.
the time? Actually, to be honest, I really wish we would get there anyways. I really wish that it's a long way. I mean, it's not everyone that would think the way you think, because people would always be people. When you just want to be that lady that is just having fun. I've heard people, even these ladies, I've heard them say, oh, this person is only for her to be traveling, this and that. She's not gonna look for a man to marry and all of that. Even sometimes, even people that I love, that I genuinely love, sometimes they say certain statements to me that I do not appreciate. Do you understand? So I feel like people also need to be very, very careful of what they say to people, because you genuinely do not even know what that person is going through. Some people might be going through maybe hurt from past relationship, and they are just scared to enter into another relationship. And I also believe that, just like what they said, I don't think people's lives should be centered around when will you marry all the time, because at the end of the day, marriage is good. I love it and I want to experience it. Marriage is good, but I believe that that's not the only thing God has brought us on here to do, because the truth is, after marriage, what next?
Exactly.
After childbirth, what next? As much as it is good, I believe that we shouldn't always now be centered around it all the time. And that's all. Like, and then the question you asked, if I had I have a standard, I have a list, but for me, there are some basic things, qualities that I'm looking for in a man. Be a child of God, be caring, be kind, be someone that can lead as well, be someone that can also fan my ambition.
I think I'm going to steal Precious
as well.
Feel free to
for
steal
physical
it.
attributes, I don't know if I might be a bit biased because I'm a short person.
So,
I try not to be too focused on that. I try not to be too focused on that, but I just want someone that is presentable. Just look good and be presentable. That's what I want.
That's a
But
cute
of
way
course,
to say it.
in a way,
5'9" minimum.
In a way, inside of me, I want someone that is actually taller than me, because I'm short. And the reason why I'm even looking at that again is because there were some things that happened like growing up as a short person, so it was quite hard for me to accept myself as a short person. So it kind of just informed my decision to be like, I want a tall person and all of that. Yeah.
Let's hear from you.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Spotlight.
Right. I don't, to tell you the truth, I don't really have one. I don't really have a list, because I just always felt like when you see, you know. But that is not.
I don't think that's a good way. No. As a child of God, the reason why I said that.
No, it's not really like. I not trying to justify her, but I think I understand the perspective she's saying, is because there are some people that you would actually come across, some males that you come across that you would, no, not even click, you would know that
this is not for me.
No. Oh, okay, I get what you mean now. I get what you mean.
But that's not to say, like, obviously and I think I don't want to ever like box like in terms of like the looks, and to be honest, I don't really think women like are really, maybe this is just me, I don't think women are so focused on like, oh, looks.
Some women are. Some women are.
And they pray about it. Some people get it. Some don't.
Some would even be praying about it.
They will
Exactly.
get it. And they'll tell you, I prayed about this height. I prayed about this. I got what I wanted. So I believe that God hears you.
Right. So I need to start talking, please.
No.
I do. I need to start speaking so that you won't go and get what you can't handle.
But even if you are looking at the looks and all of that, I think it's just important to also like focus on the basic things.
You know, there's how, sorry to cut you short, exactly the basic things, just like you said. There are some values or factors that can be compromised. There are some that you can even work on to achieve what you picture or what you desire. But there are some standards that are non-negotiable. You should not be doing anything with somebody that is not genuinely born again, that is not a child of God, somebody that is not responsible, because there are some.
I have a few questions. I have a few now that because you've both said things that I really want to talk about.
Okay.
So the first question is for you, Busola. You were saying that sometimes your married friends will say something that's like, oh, you'll be like, why did you say this to me? Because I have friends who are not even yet married, but they've just been in very long-term relationships, and they will talk to me as if they are married, and I was like, we were friends. Don't get me started. We were friends before you met this person. And I know that through experiences you learn things, right? But don't, as in, sometimes I think maybe married friends can be unaware. They're just so happy that they want you to be happy too. So
God.
I feel like it's just the way society has just made everyone to think that when you get married, you're fulfilled, you have achieved, and it's an achievement to an extent,
but not the final achievement.
because the way some married people will talk to you, the way some people that are in a relationship, they make it seem like you are single. Yeah, what are you doing with your life? You're not living for anything. You don't have a man in your life. What? As beautiful as you are. Oh my God.
But you know, there's this saying that now marry you, senior me. I don't know.
I get that.
That's how they put it, that now marry you, senior me. Oh God, I've forgotten exactly how it was. But like, when I saw it, I was like, and it's true.
How do you deal with the hurt though? Like if they say, because I just brush it off. I'm like, you know what?
Well, I think it was a process anyways. I mean, initially it was hard to take some things, like, and I can't be complaining about everything to everybody. Right. I can't be saying, oh, don't say this to me. So I think I just got to that point. Just like you said in the last podcast, I just started becoming vulnerable with God. When someone says things to me, especially when it comes to relationship, I just get home and I just speak with God that, God, I don't want to marry wrong. As much as I want these things, and then people are probably putting it in my face like, you're not doing well as a single person. I don't want to marry wrong and everything. And God will give me that peace. I'll find peace. And another thing that I do, I try to make myself happy. Until the person comes.
I live for that.
I'm open-minded, but till the person comes, I'm going to like enjoy myself.
Right on.
I'm going to do what I have to do.
Right on.
I am not going to
say right on.
I'm going to do what I have to do. And like I have some married friends that you would see them and you would like pick some examples. Yes. Of course, I'm not going to use them as a yardstick. God is always the standard. But of course, I see them and I'll be like, oh, there are certain things that I like about this, and that's just it. I have genuine married friends that they're really, really nice, and they would even advise me, oh, take your time, don't rush yourself, and all of that. And I think we all need those kinds of friends in our lives and all of that.
I think before I jump into my question that I have for you is just in terms of married friends, single friends, because you see some people who are like, oh, I don't want my wife to hang out with you because
you're not married.
Yes, I even had someone who told me this week that she wanted to go out with like her friend who recently got married, and the friend's husband said no because their relationship is not serious. And I said, how do you know?
The relationship between his wife and the lady,
as in the girl
lady
herself,
and our own
and the person I don't want you hanging around with people whose relationship is not. So you can imagine people say things like that, and then there are obviously people who like will speak to you, and they might make comments, and they'll be like, "Oh, like time is going." They're not really. I think people are not really aware. So I think for me, the one thing I do is I watch who's actually speaking to me, because people want you to rush into something, but then when I look at your own situation, I'm like, is it what I would want for myself? Who is the person actually speaking to me? Because I think sometimes people project things onto you, and maybe it was their own fear that, oh, I got married late, so I don't want the same for you. But then that fear pushes you into maybe unnecessary situations where you're like, yes, I'm stressed, I need to just make sure. Because for me, the reason I don't have a checklist is because I'm so checklist oriented that I'm like, I don't want this to just be another tick box activity. I want to experience life. Like, I want to experience you. I don't want to just be like, yes, married. Because for a while I was like, yes, I just want to take it so that people will leave me alone, so that everybody will stop talking to me, so that it won't seem like, because there's like, you leave school, you get a job, you get a house, you get whatever, you get married, you have kids. But I don't want my life to just be this. The life is a journey, like for a reason. There's things to enjoy about it.
That's true.
But now that women are in this journey, right? A lot of women in the church are like, there's no man. There's no man. Where is he? Where is he hiding?
They are married.
So can we not go and evangelize?
Evangelize
and bring him into the church. What would you say, Sister Precious, to someone who's like, let me go outside and bring him in?
That's a selfie.
Because
you should help me on this podcast too.
We want to go. You are saying don't be with somebody who's not a genuine. But what if I pray? I will pray for him. The one I want is not in the church. He's too holier than thou.
There's nothing that light and darkness want to have to do together. I think we have to really register that. And there's an illustration that Pastor Mildred Okonkwo gives to that light and darkness thing. She says, can you go to the graveyard and say you're looking for a husband? So can the graveyard be a place of selection for you to go and pick your husband? But she said, the illustration is that's what we do when you, as a genuinely born again Christian, want to marry somebody that is not genuinely born again. That's exactly what you do. I would not advise that, honestly, because it's a the least thing I want for any lady, to be honest, is that you get married and then your husband's life, his lifestyle, his way of living becomes a pain and a thing that you now have to be praying for, like a painful burden on you. That's the least thing I want. But that is what would actually happen when you, as a child of God, you go and, because in the name of love, in the name of is my spec, you go and pick somebody that's what will happen. And it's not something that you want. I know one or two people that are in that ball game, and it's not nice. It's the least thing you will want as a newly wedded or a wedded person. It's the least thing. So please, God, your spec is in church. Is it? Your spec is in church. Maybe not your local church, but I assure you, seriously.
So we should be doing church tour, like just.
No,
because think about it. I'm not even joking now. Like, I'm prone to jokes, but this time I'm serious.
But it's not only church that is
but
the
you
place
can meet them
now.
at your place of work.
Exactly.
And you just do like, oh, is this person a child of God?
Yeah.
But do people really meet people like that?
Yes.
A lot.
No.
A lot. But I'm really happy you're asking these questions though, because I feel like there are people that
okay, let me give an example. Sorry, I
questions.
actually have a friend that met her husband on Telegram, and the guy is a genuine child of God. So that is very possible.
What do we say about dating apps for young Christians?
Well, I would say it's not a rule out thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I strongly believe that you can meet your husband anywhere, and I mean anywhere, not even in this technology advanced age. It's humans that are on those apps now. That's what I used to say.
Yeah.
You are human, you are on that app. It's also humans. You are a Christian, you are on that app.
They're also Christians
Exactly.
on the app.
And you know there are Christian dating apps. But the
Yes.
only thing I would just really amplify into the ears of anyone that wants to go on that route is that please do your due diligence and don't allow your emotions to be all over the place. Like, really do your, in the terms of hearing from God, if God is really in that boat you want to board on, and then your due diligence of his ways of life, maybe his family pattern, you know, just do your due diligence. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
I agree with the due diligence. I think one thing that Christians are prone to doing is like, oh, I met him in the church, and all of a sudden that's enough for you.
That's not enough.
Oh God. How I
Every part of Okoko, the
you know what
church is
they
like a hospital.
exactly what I want
Everyone
to
is
say.
sick with one thing or the other.
Exactly.
So it doesn't guarantee
Sometimes
anything.
the sickness is not like visible. You
Yeah,
know what
but
I
with
mean?
time, if you're following God, you're doing your due diligence. You would
That's
definitely,
why you must.
You definitely know.
You must do the due diligence, and
It's a
I
must.
think it's hard to be with somebody that you don't have any history of, like you don't know even just anything, and of course like I think every relationship requires faith, you know, trust,
Yeah,
all of those
absolutely.
things. But if you can find out, even like, do you know his mother, sister, if you can find out anything,
Yes, please.
please do. Like, don't let it just Christian be the only label. Oh, he's a pastor. Don't let
Yeah, I think that's another thing.
Oh,
I
he's
know
a
the number of people that are going into ministry anyhow these days.
Yeah.
Pastor, okay.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah,
I
but
think we shouldn't be also too yeah, that's a basic thing, a basic quality. Be a child of God, but there are other things to also look out for.
sure.
Is like their family. How are they? I like.
It's true.
There are some pastors that
No, it's
some
true.
pastors are not okay. Some pastors are very unkind.
In fact, it might not even really be the attitudes of the family members, though. It might even be some really traditions and cultures that are ongoing that, you know, they are still really upholding and following. And you will know that as a child of God, no, it's not aligning. And
I think even just talking about like their family, how are they? I think honestly, the one thing I've figured out is that how do they talk about the dynamics between their parents and the dynamics like with them and their parents? Because obviously, as a child of God, like let's say you are dating to marry. Some people date for other reasons.
yeah.
Like, this is the person that is going to be a father, this is the person that's going to be a husband, right? So you want to know, what example did this person have? And there are times I've heard some people say things like, I've had examples where people might not have had like the best father figure, mother figure, but the way they talk about their mother, like you're like, okay, you grew up where love was, versus somebody who might talk about their parents in a way that you're like, I don't know if
I can
like
do this.
Absolutely.
the way they will talk about their parents, I'm like, whoa, this is not the kind of thing I want to include myself in. And my parents, they're not perfect.
Yeah.
But I know like the dynamic that like I appreciate between them.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of doing your due diligence, like it's the small things. You don't have to like have all the information.
Yeah.
Just through conversation of like how they relate with their parents, how they talk about their sister, like do they shout, like
Yes.
you want to know
Yes.
small things like that.
Yes. What you said just reminded me of one of my mentors. She was like, there was one of the standards she set when she got in a relationship with her husband. She was like, see, you can do everything, you can say everything, but they don't used to shout on me.
Yes.
She was like,
I've said this a million and one time. I'm serious.
she said, no, do everything, say everything, but don't raise your voice at me. I don't want it. So there are things to watch out for, really. There are things to watch out for.
But with you, Sister Precious, now you're married, right?
Yeah.
So, and for us, it's like, oh, we're sprinting towards this goal. Now you've reached the goal. How do you like navigate marriage afterwards, because obviously marriage is a forever journey. This is forever. But like, you're angry. What do? You're
Angry share with my husband.
with life happens
Yeah,
during
of
marriage.
course.
So maybe you're angry outside, you come inside. How do you handle that? And then also, do you find that now that you know your husband, like you live with him 24/7, how do you deal with the new revelations?
I love that phrase.
With that you
New
get
revelations.
every day, like, is this where I am?
It's absolutely true. The truth is that even me myself, I'm still learning things about myself. To tell you the very honest truth, I still even learned something about myself this morning. I was like, hey, so I can deal with this thing in this way. Okay, noted. So the truth is that we are humans, we are in layers, and different expositions unveils different layers of us. So what I do, right, the truth is that I'm not perfect, and that's what they say. You have to learn that I'm not perfect, he's not perfect. It's two of us that we are both imperfect, and it's a very long journey. I'll tell you. Now let me answer the specific question of if I'm angry, not him being the cause. Now there are different ways I deal with it. If it has not gotten to the level where, if the anger is at the level where I can still talk about it, I talk about it. And most time I might just even burst out crying or whatsoever in the midst of talking about it. But if it's something that I'm really boiling, I just need my space. And I think we both understand that. And all of this boils down to communication, actually. Because in marriage, you have to talk about everything.
True.
I mean, everything. Even things that on my own, when I was single, I'll probably not talk about. I know those things, but I will just shy away from them. But in marriage, God, you have to talk about them. So now, if is the cause of the anger, let me reflect. Well, there are different ways that I deal with it. One immature way that I used to deal with it before is that I used to want to be the hard girl. I'll just be like, no, everything is fine, everything is okay, till everything will be piling up, be piling up, be piling up, and then something that is not even worth it one day will not happen, and then and is it because of this? I'll now start out point.
This is what you did.
And that other day too. After I told you.
No.
So, but I've just learned that I was still having this discussion with a married friend of mine, and she was like, "I don't know that is playing hard girl. As it's happening like that, you are talking about it." Once the situation is right, that it's not as if others are there and everything, don't even let it go cold. Not like you now be exchanging words. Of course, that's something that is not even done amongst us, but you just express how I don't like what you did. I really don't like how you addressed me. I don't like how you spoke to me. Just talk it out. Then I will end with this specific thing that I'm learning recently. I think I even had to write it down, that instead of complaining about him not doing things my way, him not doing things how I want to do it, why not explain the reason why you're doing this thing? And it's been really working, to be honest. Okay, something as simple as, because I can be a perfectionist and worry about every nonsense thing. So to something as minute as how we place the anger, drying anger. So there's a particular way I place it. And if it's placed any other way, even not by my husband, I'll be angry. What? Because I have my reasons for actually putting it that way.
I agree.
So when you're putting it another way, you are disrupting, so instead of actually, and I've always been getting pissed off when he turns it another way. So one particular day this week, I now went to him, I was like, do you know that when I put it this way? So instead of actually going, why do you put it this way? Share your reasons, madam. Calm down, share your reasons. Perhaps he even has reasons for. Funny enough, he also had reasons for putting it the other way around. I'm telling you, and his reasons too were absolutely genuine, just like mine.
True.
So when I'm like, okay, so wait. It might sound that funny, but it just boils down to communication. Marriage is not the achievement of one; it's another journey.
No, but that actually highlights, I think, what marriage is. Like two people with their own viewpoints. This is how he likes things. This is how you like things. And then when you come in, you have to both figure out how do we like the hanger to be. You know, what day are we going to put the clothes on?
Yeah,
that's true. But I also, when you were talking about marriage is all about communication, I think with people who are in their single season, I think you need to actually figure out like how you communicate. How do you interact with other people? You can use the way you interact with other people
absolutely
to inform, you know, your decisions going forward, and to just even learn about yourself, because this is, I think that's the most important thing. You go into marriage and you're like, I did not even know I could react this way, in such a way. Like when you were talking about the shouting thing, I realized me too, please don't because I always say my mother does not shout at me, so why would you even raise your voice? And I realized that when I come into conflict, the minute somebody raises their voice, I've already shut down mentally. I'm not thinking about anything you're saying. I've already started thinking, okay, we're ready to rack. Like, and that's obviously not the most productive thing to do. But even just how do you communicate, right, with one another, like even just with your friend, because there are other relationships that we need to nurture outside of marriage, love, marriage, platonic relationships. How exactly do I love you as a friend. How do I communicate with you? How do I speak to you when things go wrong? So I think when people, just to buttress this point, that like marriage is important, being in relationships is important as Christians. Like God did not make us to be alone. But then there are other relationships that have value outside of your marriage. And I think sometimes even when things are going on in the marriage, you want to have a friend.
Absolutely.
Who
your husband will always not be there. God will now bless you and give you a husband like mine. Oyo. Not really Oyo. He tries his best to be available as much as he can, and he has really been doing well, even especially since I started raising concerns about that. But there's something that one of my mentors says. She says men are goal oriented. When they are trying to get your attention and propose to you and everything, that is their goal. So they will do everything. They can put on hold all other things. You are the main deal. But after marriage is done and everything, it's
so
not
the
magic.
Next
There's
goal.
another thing that has to come to the
Yeah.
table.
I agree with that.
So you now figure it now look like since we married self, you don't even have my time. Some men are good at still being able to balance things, but most other men, they are goal oriented. Marriage done, what's next? Marriage is done, what's next? So you have to really know that your husband will not be there at all times. Of course, you will not even want your husband to be sure will not work. You want a man that will be responsible. Will he be responsible on the bed with you, both of you being together? No. So you need other friendships.
Friendships, nurture your friendships, communities. And this is what they actually say about women. Like you're saying, maybe men are goal oriented, but I think also maybe men are not, I don't know, men don't view friendships in the same way as women do. Because they were saying, like, for example, with widows, like this is after they've been married years, with widows, when their partner passes away, they are still able to have a full life outside after like the death of their partner. But with widowers,
it's hard.
Very hard,
because they realize that women are the ones who go to church, and you build communities. You're doing cleaning with mommy Grace, on this day. You've got Bible study, you build relationships there. So I think building relationships gives you a full life. Don't just focus on, okay, this is the goal. Everybody says, let's get married. What else is there that brings you joy in this life?
Nurture it.
Nurture it. But final words for Valentine is coming. Where's your boyfriend? What do you say?
I mean, just keep loving yourself. Love people around you as well, until the one that will give you that emotional love that you want comes. And don't beat yourself too hard. God still has sons and daughters.
Yeah, true. God still has sons.
True. You're not alone.
Yeah.
Final words.
My final word would be like that God makes everything beautiful in its own time. In his own time, rather. God makes everything beautiful in his own time. There's a timing that God has put in place for your marriage. You might not know it, and you can actually ask so that you receive the grace to wait towards it. But pending that's when the time will actually come to place. Just trust God and enjoy yourself. Please make a bucket list, travel list, program list,
Don't stay in the house.
But can God actually bring somebody in when you are sitting in the house?
God can actually.
Can he?
Yeah, I received a testimony this week. They called that from a... I'm not joking. Oh God, I wish you can believe me. Oh God. I'm serious.
Tell us the story.
I'm serious. Well, I'm not going to mention her name.
Yeah, sure.
She's a very close friend of mine, like very, very, very close friend of mine. She was in her house. Well, she had just ended a relationship with somebody because values were not aligning a great deal. So, and she was in the space of God, because she had received the go-ahead to end that relationship. And she was now like, God, okay, you're telling me to end this relationship. What next? Time is not, waiting. That's spot where we can all find ourselves, and God just gave her the nudging that it's just around the corner. And I don't know if it was that same day or the next day, she got a call from a colleague, and the person is a colleague and friend of ours, that somebody wants to see her. And she was like, somebody wants to see me. From where I'm not joking. I still had this call conversation yesterday. I'm not even joking.
But it's not like she doesn't go out or anything.
Okay, she goes to church.
That's what we mean. Like, you're not going anywhere. Yeah, but
he met her in her house.
No, can there be someone that does not? You have something to take you out, I believe, even if it's just work.
Yes.
Or shopping, you have something to take you out. I believe there's nobody that can be all locked up 24 hours 7 days a week, 52 weeks in a year. No,
I know we're saying this is our final words. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was just thinking, do you not think that, because I'm thinking about, okay, if you go out more often, the probability that you meet somebody is higher. So do you not just think this marriage is a thing of luck, chance,
it's
all
not
aligning? The more you, because my friends who I talk to, they are like, you have to be super intentional about it. You have to treat it as a job.
Oh God, you are listening to the wrong stuff.
That's too much for me.
Exactly.
Like what? No. Like what? I treat it like a job. No, I'm open-minded. I go out, I meet people, that's fine. But treating it like a job, like I should write it. I don't like. I should be. I don't know.
Let me explain. Maybe you say I'm prone to exaggeration. Let me explain. So they were like, you cannot just sit down. And to be honest, a few married people that I've spoken to, or people they've said similar things. They're like, maybe they're just trying to emphasize the intentionality that is required with getting married or being in a relationship, right? Because they're like, I have an older aunt, and she's always like, your hair, presentation.
Okay.
You have to go outside. You have to try and meet people. You cannot just be on your ones and then expect somebody to come and speak to you. That's why I'm like, she really met somebody just sitting at home. There's hope for introverts. But then my other friend, her thing was, I want to get married. And she's very checklist, goal oriented as well. Women can be like that too. And her thing was, I'm going to go on as many dates as possible. I'm going to meet as many people as possible. And initially it was like, just relax. It doesn't. But now she has
someone.
Yeah, so is it wrong to see it as this is a job?
I think it's a form of desperation to see it.
Well, another thing, maybe it's the way you put it. I kind of understand what she's trying to say. If you say you want to get married this year, there has to be a level of intentionality.
That's true too.
What do I need to do? Do I need to dress better?
Yes.
Do I need to be more
socialize more?
Yeah. Do I need to socialize more? Do I need to read more to be able to have the kind of? Because I believe that the more you grow and the more you develop yourself, the more the things you used to, your standards will be changing. Your standards will definitely change. Of course, aside from the basic ones, but your standards will change. You would want someone maybe like yourself. Do you understand? So I think that intentionality too is
required.
Is required to an extent. Not like you are looking for a job.
No, but
I get what
I don't
you
think
mean.
it's wrong, because
I don't
this
think
is
it's wrong.
maybe you might see it as desperation, right? But this is something that you're going to be in forever. Does it not require that level of work?
It doesn't. It requires level of trust
Prayer.
in God. No, because the truth is that you can do all of that and still not.
Meet the wrong person.
So to what end?
Yes, that's true.
I think
To what
okay.
end? So even I would say, if at all you would do that, don't do it to the peak point, one. And in the midst of all of your doings, just you express trust in God and talk it out with God. Like, God, I just trust you to bring somebody across my path, to align the part of me and the person that you have prepared for me, or the person that will be my husband, whatsoever, just to express trust in that regard. I feel that's more key.
I agree with her as well, because I was going to say, like, it's also important to ask God what he wants you to do per time.
God can even be the one. So instead of you now being the one that is mapping out the lines of action you would do, in your new job description of
Stop it. Say your job
But as
description.
a person, as an individual, you still have to be intentional in everything. You still have to be intentional in
Your job
everything.
description.
Yeah, but God should always be the standard.
So does God really pick people?
it depends on what you mean by pick.
Because
Okay.
God, you say, oh, God said. Does God really say?
Yes, no.
Or is it because there's some people who will say, I think I've heard Pastor Mildred say, God doesn't tell you. I might be
there's
wrong.
no specific person for
Who
you
to marry? Yes,
There is none.
but some people will come to you and say, God said I should. You are the one.
But what if the person doesn't receive you?
So what do you do with that information then?
Leave them alone.
But that's what I'm saying. How
okay,
do you,
how do you
how
still
are we
go back
always
to
certain
God.
that?
You still
Or
go
does
back-
God just speak to some people?
The truth is, God can speak to you, and the other person, but the person is not receiving you. The person is refusing to take it. And the truth is, I think there's this thing I say that where it talks about your own will and God's will or something. I can't remember how it's explained. But the truth is, God will not force a man or a woman on you. I believe that.
Yes, absolutely.
You have to be willing
And
to
the
take
thing
it
is,
or not.
sorry to cut you short, aside the God factor, like God choosing, there are several other factors that can actually alter even God's choice. If a man comes to you to say, because I've seen a situation where the male guy rather receives a lady that she's suitable to be a wife for him, and the lady was like, oh no, marriage is not in the next 3-5 years plan for me. I want to focus on my study, get this degree, get second degree, third degrees, this and this and that. And the guy knows that he wants to get married in the next 1 to 2 years at most. So you see that
You
it doesn't
move on.
like they went their separate
You
ways.
move-
That's
yeah.
what was done.
Are you joking?
Yes. One thing my husband says, that it's not now. Do you know that the person you will marry, God is not going to create that person now?
Okay.
So that's to tell you that there's no specific person. There are just several people that might fit
Potentials.
into the criteria, and qualities that will be suitable. There are several people that will have that qualities that are suitable in a man. I don't know how best to put it. Do you get?
Yes.
So that's what I would say.
I like how
Final notes.
forget the job description.
God makes everything
Open up
beautiful
the-
in His own time.
True. There are several people who are always, I don't know if you've heard of Sierra's prayer.
Yes.
Yeah, Sierra's prayer. So basically Sierra Wilson, I think her name is Sierra Wilson now. Yeah. But she's
Is it the singer?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I think she posted this one prayer of like what she prayed when she had her relationship with her previous partner had fallen apart and she really wanted to get married to a godly man. And I think let's not belittle that. Like God actually listens. We can say, oh, prayer, like Sierra's prayer, ha ha ha. But God is actually listening to the desires of your heart. So that's my final words.
Yeah.
God wants you to have the best. And of course, like everybody around you, like I know aunties, uncles might be saying things like, but I think sometimes when they say things, it comes from a place of care, good
Concern,
intentions.
genuine concern, yeah.
Yes, because let's not get it twisted. Like especially as women, there's like biological reasons why, being in a marriage partnership is important, right? You don't want to do this life thing by yourself. You don't want to have children by yourself. Like, it's not fun to do. So of course, like, they want you to do it at the best possible time. It might not be the earliest, but the best possible time. So God wants you to have the best. I'm sure people around you, if they really care, want you to have the best. So you should want the best for yourself. Let's not jump into it. Right? Don't just leap because you feel the pressure. That's what I think. Like, it's assess the situation. This you have the rest of your life. The rest of your life is really long. If you don't know it, it's really long.
It is.
Do I want to be angry with you forever?
Exactly.
No, I want to have a great time. So in the same way, just be patient. That's what I would say. And walk hand in hand with God. So that when he's saying no, you hear.
That's key.
That's
Thank you very much. Okay.
Do you?
No,
just
affirming what you
Sorry,
said.
I had to say my own final words. Sorry. But thank you all for listening this long. I hope you've drawn something from the conversation.
I'm certain you have.
Yes. For our single and married friends. And for those who are in the waiting room, God will hear your prayers.
Amen.
God is sorting you out.
Right? See you in the next one.
Bye.